amazes me if you get saying, well, Dita, just thought I'd do something a little different then. So here's our captive audience today. And the reason she's lying in a field of lavender, I think. She looks bored or inquisitive, so she probably needs to read a book. So that's what we're going to talk today about. So Dita's going to do an in-depth thing. So morning coffee or ice water in Dita's case today. So I look at these videos where you must have this, you must have that. Okay, whatever. So I was thinking, okay, I guess because I'm getting older, I'm thinking about just simplifying things, you know, one guitar at a time. Sometimes I play 3 in a day. Now I'm just playing 1 a day, 1 amp at a time, 1 captive audience at a time. You can only drink 1 cup of coffee or ice water at a time, right? I see. So, 1 cigar at a time. I know this bugs some people, but there's a reason I do this. I don't really smoke, but I do these for my shtick. And part of it is I like to make fun of woke people and these people that virtue signal because they think, oh, you know, we're accepting of everybody. Oh, are you really? You're accepting of it. You know, you want everybody to accept you, but do you accept other people for what they are, huh? Hey, do you? Do you? I think it's funny, someone will go, why are you smoking? And they drive around in their car, or they have a house, or they have a wood or coal burning stove, or they buy clothes and everything that's made from industrial furnaces and stuff, really. Especially here in Hamilton where the air is so bad, I have people going, because sometimes I puff one of these when I'm walking my dog. People go, you can't smoke in here. I said, oh, really? I'm in a park. I'm outside. I said, you're breathing Hamilton air. Anyway, I digress. I can take it or leave it, but I just think a lot of people are so full of shit. So anyway, why this is the best book to have. And I'll give you all the information thing. The Guitar Handbook by Ralph Denyer, and we're going to dive into it a bit more here. So this is why it's so good for anybody, any skill level. Got a foreword by Robert Fripp, King Crimson, those of you who are old enough to remember. It's got a whole section on the guitar innovators, Eddie Van Halen, Django Reinhardt, Charlie Christian, with pictures and a little story, so isn't that nice? Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, B.B. King, whom I've had the pleasure of seeing live, and Freddie King. Didn't see Freddie. Eddie Cochran, Dwayne Eddy. They snubbed the classical guitarists here, but I guess you can't have everything in one book. Eric Clapton, John Lee Hooker. Holy shit. Jimi Hendrix. Frank Zappa. Steve Cropper, you get the idea. Pete Townsend, one of my favorites. Sid Barrett. Stanley Clarke. Jeff Beck. Brian May. Jaco Pastorius. Andy Summers. Robert Fripp. Eddie Van Halen. Pat Metheny. And Steve Vai. Then they have a whole section on acoustic guitars and history about that. Construction of the guitar. Tone of the guitar. How acoustic guitars are made. Really great book. Got lots of detail in there, lots of pictures, good explanations, concise to the point. Talks about the bridge, all the stuff you need to know. They even mention classical and flamenco guitars, so good for them. No players though. steel string acoustic guitars, archtop guitars, they cover it all. So we're making this overly long. Then they go on a whole section, same thing on electric guitars. They tell you about how they're constructed, pickup wiring, all this kind of stuff. How the guitar is tuned. Then they have a section on playing the guitar. The beginner. They talk about tablature, how the guitar is tuned. Tuning methods with pictures and diagrams, left hand technique, right hand technique. They cover it all. Open chords with charts and diagrams. 3-chord theory, they have theory in there too, well explained. Further chord progressions, strumming and flat picking, finger picking and finger styles. Excuse me. Bar chords. Then they have a whole section on the rhythm guitarist. They talk about tempo, rhythm, and timing, time signatures, how to use chord charts, time values, triplets, rhythm charts, folk and country rhythms, blues and rock rhythms, soul, funk, and reggae rhythms, Spanish and Latin rhythms, jazz guitar styles. Then they go on to the melodic guitarist. They talk about pitch, the major scale fingering positions, minor scales, key signatures, circle of fifths, blah, 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 scales and modes, synthetic scales, and then they talk about the harmonic guitarist, harmonics, intervals, all with fingerings, interval inversions, triads, triad doubling, theory of chord progressions. They have it all here. Seventh chords, added ninth, suspended fourths and sixths, extended chords, polychords, chord synonyms, modulation. Then they have a whole section for the advanced guitarist, single string lead techniques, guitar bending, slides, string bending, blues and rock guitar licks with examples, pull-offs, arpeggios, chord substitution. It explains it all in stunning detail, power chords and fret tapping, alternative tunings, bottleneck and slide guitar, and then they have a whole section on guitar maintenance and customizing. Fitting strings, they show you how to change strings. Setting the action, they tell you how to set the action on all types of guitars. Adjusting the neck, fret care, setting the intonation. Simple guitar repairs, they even cover that. Finishing, they cover it all here. Guitar care and travel, custom and customized guitars. A guide to guitar electronics, and even though this was published like almost 30 years ago, how electric guitars are wired, the tools you need. 3 pickup, they show you how pickups are wired. So, and then they have the chord dictionary in the back. So, not one book does it all, but this thing comes pretty damn close, Maze and me. Pretty damn close. And maybe the next time we'll get into, I found my 3 volumes of the Guitar Compendium. Volume 1, Volume 2, which I haven't gotten into, and Volume 3. This is known as the Praxis System. But I just thought I'd give you a little more in-depth thing about why the Guitar Player's Handbook by Ralph Denia is so darn good. Like I said before, if I had to have only one guitar, it would be a classical guitar. Because you can play everything on it. If I only had one book, it would be that book. The Guitar Player Handbook by Ralph Denia, because it's got a wealth of information. You can teach yourself a hell of a lot of stuff with this, and I'm actually embarrassed that I've had it for so long And I've used it, but my biggest problem is I'm one of those people that do as I say, not as I do, because my biggest problem is I know what I'm supposed to do, but do I do it? Yeah, I'm more of a hobbyist guitarist than a pro, but if you want to get good, get a book like that as a jumping off point, and you will find it covers, if you work through a book like that, kind of fastidiously, I guarantee you'll probably have a lot of success in whatever style you're playing. So here, just to piss off the non-smokers, we're going to have a drink to that. And light our cigar. Say goodbye to our captive audience. Isn't she lovely? Play a few notes. No matter where you go, there you are. Life is better when you play a guitar and leave you with that dissonant seventh. Wiedersehen, happy plucking.